Hi, my name is Ryan DeVries. I'm a deputy with the Ottawa County Sheriff's Office. I've been assigned to the schools at West Ottawa and Grand Haven now for 6.5 years. I was asked from a parent's perspective of what they can look for from their students if they're possibly asking questions about narcotics or any other illegal substances, and what in their behavior can change. There's many times that I would say start with one of asking questions at home. How well do you know your child's friends that they're spending all their time with at school? Just don't assume that your child is being surrounded by the best influence. Many parents then will follow up with, well, I see a deterioration in their grades. And again, the first thing I would say is, who is your child surrounding themselves with at school? And many times, there are times where it might be something in that your child's life that may have a priority change in their life, that they want to spend more time working on that or spending time with that, and the difference of spending time in the classroom. A lot of times the follow-up question that I get is, if my child does get in trouble at school with being in possession of drugs or being under the influence of drugs, and what are the consequences there? That's actually twofold. At first, it's going to be the school consequences. In most public school districts in the county, possession of a narcotic will usually automatically lead to a 10-day out-of-school suspension, and based on the number of infractions, can lead to 30 days out, or even to an expulsion, which means that your child cannot attend a public school district for 180 days. With that being said, there's also the law enforcement and the court consequences. It will usually involve a interview done by someone like me. That report gets forwarded to our prosecutor's office, where they'll make a determination of charge. If your child is a juvenile, you can look for a letter in the mail. Depending on time frame and how busy they are, up to 45 days, which will show what your child is being charged with, and also tell you when and where they need to appear in front of a judge. Going from there, your child could have several different consequences, whether it be the first one being of consent, where they're under house rules and in your watch for 3 months, and they can show that there's a change in their behavior, and then they can move on and be out of the court system. Based on the severity of the crime, can lead to probation, can lead to being locked up at detention. And I would usually describe to that student that was wondering about probation is that you have more set of rules than your average kid the same age. Curfew, your grades are being looked at a little bit more. You're held to a higher standard when it comes to absences and tardies. You may have someone come to your house from the courts and you will be drug tested. We've had it where someone from the courts have come to the school and drug tested a student. So again, there's a different variety of consequences that can come based on the severity of the crime. And then also, again, if your child is 17 or older, they are viewed as an adult in the eyes of the law, which leads to adult criminal record, jail time, probation, which long-term, looking at the big picture, can affect jobs and colleges and so forth. So going back to the original question of how do I know and what is the advice that I would give to parents is be a part of their life. Find that middle ground, that you're not going to be a helicopter parent looking over their shoulder, but yet you're asking the questions and you know who your child is hanging out with. Get to know your friends. Know your child's friends' names. If your child's going over to another student's house, know who their parents are. Are their parents going to be there to monitor what your child is doing? And it's okay to ask questions. Any high school kid is always going to think that their parents is looking over their shoulder, but we always want to be on the safer side to ask questions and really be educated about who our child is in all of those hours of the day when we're not there to hold their hand.